Hey guys, what's going on? Guys, gals, 40 Grit here. It's a day off, so I figured I would jump on and say hello to all of you. So, some stuff going on here. I figure I kind of made a list tonight so I could keep track of what I'm talking about before I get sidetracked like I usually do. Um, First of all, thanks to all of you for the subs. I mentioned it today in the video that I did regarding the subs. Thank you for the 1,000 subs. Super appreciate it. That was my goal for this channel. I was kind of hoping I would get 1,000 people that cared enough to come and watch the guitar stuff. And luckily enough for me, in a couple months, I hit 1,000. So really appreciate that. And these videos, I'll just keep doing them as much as I can. As much as I'm not working. Uh, Drove out to Florence today. Drove out to Florence, Arizona. I bought a cabinet. Here, let me pull it up. Uh, Bought a cabinet. I talked about it a little on the video from today. Bought this cabinet in Vegas. It popped up on Craigslist. I was looking at Craigslist one day, and this cabinet popped up. The guy had it as a 1976 A cabinet, salt and pepper, and he wanted $400 for it. Said there were blackbacks in it. Uh, I went and got it. Drove from Vegas. I'm in Phoenix, so I drove to Vegas, picked it up, came home the same day. I got and talked to the guy, and the guy said that it was just a prop. It was never really used. He didn't really use the cabinet for anything. It was a prop. So I got it home. The grill cloth was really loose on it, like really flimsy. I talked to my amp guy about it. The amp guy said that uh, he recommended that I have a professional do it. He said because that cab's worth some dough, and if you're going to get it redone correctly. So there's a guy in the valley here named Bob Miller. He's in Florence. So I drove right there to pick it up this morning. This thing sounds fantastic. So I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it out. I'm going to leave it running my right side setup. I'm going to A and B these probably tomorrow morning and see which ones I prefer more. But it came out perfect. Anyways, it didn't end up having blackbacks. Long story short, the guy said it's a 1974 cab. It came with blackbacks. The blackbacks were not in it. It had 1997 reissue Celestion greenbacks in it. But either way, they sound fantastic. They're surely broken in because I think I had mentioned that I A beat it against another A cabinet that was brand new, and I don't think the speakers were broken. So this cabinet sounds fantastic, and I can see this cabinet taking over what I'm using for my go-to 412. I'm using the 50-watt EVH on top there. The PV was my long-running 100-watt head when I was gigging, and that head's very near and dear to my heart because every gig was done on that head. So, long story short, but on my drive there, I was playing music, checking it out, checking out music and listening to music. Not sure if you guys have ever heard the song "The Party's Over," "Hopelessly in Love" by Journey, but that opening lick that Neil Sean does in that, I was just noodling on that today because I had learned it before, and I was noodling on that today, trying to get it back up to speed again because it's it's kind of a tough lick. I mean, if you go to pull that off up to speed, uh, I remember when I was working at Sir, I was listening to that tune one day, and I went on Facebook and I just popped into Neil Sean's chat. He was in a chat for something, and I said, "Hey, what's the deal with the opening of Hopelessly in Love?" Because it was on the uh, the live album, and they added that as a studio cut, just as a enticer to buy the album. If you haven't heard it, listen to it. It's a really cool intro, a very technical intro. So I remember I had asked him, uh, was that like a warm-up exercise for you, or was that just something that you just came up with? And he responded right away and said that he had come up with that just on the fly, and then they went into the song. So if you get a chance tonight, if you haven't heard it, "The Party's Over" by Journey, very cool opening lick, and uh, it's fun to figure out. So I've got it figured out. I'll get it up to speed, and then maybe I'll throw it into one of my demos or something one day. But really cool opening lick to get into. Let's see who's in the chat. Ronnie Parker, always faithful. Ronnie Parker, how's it going, man? Thanks for being here. Thunder Falcon, how's it going? Lewis, there you are. How you doing, pal? Nate, that's my boy. Mikey, how you doing? Mikey, always faithful, always there. Yeah, thanks, man. You know, I figured in 2 months, if I got to 1,000 subscribers, I was kind of maybe doing something right. But I guess I'm doing something right. So 1,000 in a couple months is pretty good. James 5150 is in the house. How you doing, man? Robbie Stingle's in the chat. How you doing, pal? I'm gonna have Robbie on one night. We're gonna do some listings, and I just have to figure out when we can plan it. I want to, have it planned out and have it be good for you guys. But we'll do some listings like we used to do before when we were on together. Mr. Mick is in the house. Hey, 40, what's your thoughts on synergy modules, buddy? I got to be honest with you. I've never even messed with any of that stuff. I don't think I have any. I don't think I have. I don't think I have any interest in doing any of that stuff. I'm a bedroom player now. I don't see myself going out and gigging anymore. It's just a young man's game, lugging these cabinets around and stuff like that. I just don't know if that's something that I'd be interested in doing, or even gigging with my work schedule. That'd be pretty tough to practice, because when I was gigging, when I was in California, I practiced a lot and I made sure that I was good and I made sure that I was solid. And I just don't think that I have the time to commit to that anymore. But with the synergy stuff, I get it. You know, there's a bunch of different platforms now that I think that's what you're referring to. Going to more of a rack mount system, to where if you travel or whatever, you just go and plug into the house PA and you're good to go. I've never messed with any of it, so I'd be untruthful if I told you that I had. So Mikey saying hello to all these people. Let's see here. JP21, yeah, 1,000 subs, man. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you being here. Listings, love that stuff. You know what? I mean, that was fun. I enjoy doing that because I feel that Robbie and I are both pretty well versed with regards to what's worth something and what's not worth something, and what's good on a guitar, good eyes on a guitar. So yeah, we enjoy doing that. So I will surely have Robbie on, and we will surely be doing some listings, roast some listings. Yeah, we'll do some roasting for sure. Kraber Fridays, yeah. That was Kraber time. Yep, good stuff. Phil, thanks for being here tonight. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. JP 21s is seconding that. Robbie, how are you? Zora and Cubby. Zora's doing. I saw a video of Zora the other day. Mr. Mixdale chasing tone. That's why I was asking by the synergy. If you're chasing tone, pal, I mean, in my opinion, just stick with. Go and get yourself a EVH 5150 50 watt. I mean, that's by far, out of all these amps in here, if I was going to a gig right now, the 50 watt would be going, or the Iconic. I don't know. The Iconic is the Iconic's pretty cool. So if you enjoy the Iconic, the good thing, something that I learned today when I was doing that video is I plugged into this amp, and I didn't have my smart gates, my noise gates hooked up on the pedal board, because I just wasn't using that. I learned real quick when I went to channel 3 that I was having some hiss issues. So that's nice about the Iconic. It's got the internal noise gate. It's nice to have. Robbie says he's done chasing tone. Gets to that point, man. Especially when you get to what you like. Like, I don't even know if mine's good or not. I know that I like it, but it seems like when people comment on what I'm doing, they're like, "Hey, your tone's great." So, 20 watching, guys, don't be afraid to hit the like button, promote his channel and more videos. Yeah, I don't know about. Sure, hit the like button. I don't want to. If you want to be here, and if you don't want to be here, that's okay too for the people that don't want to be here. What's this? Ever talk about Amir Durock guitars? Never heard of them, but Phil, I will check into that. That's my buddy Phil in Detroit. What's the temperature in Detroit tonight, Phil? Mikey's saying hello. Everybody's saying hello to everybody in there. I was going to talk about the Best of Both Worlds tour. My buddy went to Red Rock and saw the Hagar show and sent me a video the other morning. I was getting ready for work, and he sent me a video of them playing Judgment Day, of Satriani playing Judgment Day. And he said to me, "Hey, man, you got to go. You have to go because it's going to be a once in a lifetime thing. And if you don't go, you're going to regret it." I think I'm okay with not going. I feel that my loyalty runs very deep to Edward, and not that I don't have loyalty to, well, I guess I really don't have loyalty to Sam and Mike, but I think that Mike was a huge part of the band, and I think that Sammy Hagar was Sammy Hagar was my era. I actually sold a truck to a guy the other day, and he came in. I went to go run his credit, and his email address ended in 5150. And I told my salesperson, I said, "Hey, do me a favor, run out there and ask him if he's a Van Halen fan." And my salesperson came back and said, "He's a Van Halen fan." And I said, "Okay, perfect. We're going to make this deal." So I went out and sat with the guy. And I said, "Okay, hey, man, a couple questions. Sammy or Dave?" And he said, "Sammy." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Dave had his part, but Sammy was more time, my time frame." And I said, "I agree with you." I said, "How old are you?" He said, 51. I said, "I'm 53." And we agreed that we were more the Sammy era of Van Halen, and that was more my thing. That being said, I really miss Ed, and I really don't want to go see that without Ed being there because I'm going to be sitting there the whole time. It's not fair for me to go see that because I'm going to be sitting there the whole time listening to it, watching it. I cannot separate myself from sitting there and enjoying it. I'm going to be sitting there critiquing Satriani, and that's not fair to Satriani because Satriani is a great guitar player in and of itself. So if that's what Joe wants to do and go play that tour, God bless. And but as far as me going to see that, I don't think that. I think I'm going to sit this one out. I'm really looking forward to Al's book. Guess Al's book is going to be released at the end of this month. So that should be a really good read. So if you enjoy reading, that should be a good read, and we should be able to catch up on some stuff that we missed out on, and hopefully he'll talk about some stuff that we didn't know about, or something cool will come up. Uh, I think that those guys are doing a good job as far as playing the stuff. I think they may be tuned down to D though, from what I'm hearing, to accommodate Sam's vocal range. Either way, it's cool. I mean, people are getting caught up in in the uh, the ether of Sammy and Mike being out on tour and they're playing the Van Halen stuff. It's all good, and I respect it, but I will not find myself being there. So that's uh Lewis says, "Hey, I love learning new things about guitars and gear." Hey, yeah, well, let's keep going. My intention is to keep. I might just start pulling some guitars apart and re-going through stuff to to show you guys the way that I do setups, etc. Whatever else I'm doing, maybe fix some string alignments. So a couple people asked me how I do that. It's really it's pretty simple, but that's one of those things that I'm just a stickler about. So, but thanks for your comment, Lewis. I appreciate it, man. Phil, it's in the 70s out there, 102 today here in Phoenix, but we're starting to cool off a little bit. JP21 really digging the Wolfie headstock back there. That was a cool one last show. Yeah. So I had those Wolfgang specials out and I had recorded videos and I deleted the videos. I don't know why I did that, but I had deleted the videos and I went to go put an edit together and they were gone and I had to reshoot everything. So I had a day off today, went out to Florence, pick up the cab, came home, shot the videos on the guitars, and then went through everything uh, with the new cab. Threw out some Van Halen licks, did my best. One thing I found myself caught up with today, like this is a R3 on this Fender. Might be an R4, but because of the radius, but I found myself getting really bunched up on that R2. I felt like like I was hitting strings and it just wasn't jiving very well with me today. Could have just been the day, but the R2 nut, I was having some difficulty with that today, so I'll probably be staying away from the R2 nuts. Robbie definitely knows his Kramers. He definitely knows his Kramers. Robbie says he's all right and he's not going. I agree with you. I believe you're still talking about the Van Halen stuff, and if that's the case, then I hear you. I appreciate the 5150 album in '86, but my heart is with David Lee Roth. Hey, I get it. I That's actually a good comment to talk about. Don't think for a second that I'm not a Dave guy, because if it wasn't for Dave, we wouldn't have Van Halen. And if there would have been the tension between the two of those two individuals, we probably wouldn't have had the great albums that we had. The thing that kind of turned me off with Dave was when he came back and for the best of album. It seemed that he was going to a higher register, trying to sing to a higher register. That's just not him. I wish that he just would have stuck with what he was doing, and I think how great Me Wise Magic would be without him getting into those other ranges, into those other vocal ranges. Can't Get This Stuff No More. Uh, the vocal ranges, if he would have stayed in the vocal ranges of the first uh, chapter of Van Halen, those songs would have been way better. Fantastic. Lewis Cool Randy poster on the back wall. I had that poster on my wall in the early '80s. So that one's actually framed. I stumbled on that poster, and I thought that was lucky that I got that poster, because it's not an easy one to get. It may be easy to get now because I know they're replicating those, but this is back when they weren't replicating them, and I had stumbled on that poster one night, and I said, I'm taking this in and I'm going to get this one framed, because my friend had that in his bedroom. Uh, and I always thought that that was a really cool picture of Randy. So I took that up and got that framed. So that one's actually like professionally framed. And then I got another one professionally framed, which is in the one I had in this poster, and I gave it to my friend. So that one's hanging at his house in the frame, because I just have no more room. And I just bought another Lynch poster the other day where I have no idea where it's going to go, but it was just too cool to not buy it. So I have another George Lynch poster coming. So, are you familiar with the Charvel six pack of tone? If so, what is your opinion on it? If you could elaborate on that, there's probably another way of explaining that. The six pack of tone. I don't even know if I've even heard that reference before. So, if you could elaborate on that, sir, I would be more than happy to talk about it, because I think I kind of know a little bit about Charvel stuff. Sammy could definitely sing better, hands down. Yeah, Sammy, there you can't compare the two. The thing that I like the most about Hagar is that he played guitar, and I like the way that Ed reacted on Live Loud and Net when they played together. It's like they enjoyed it. They enjoyed being able to play guitar together. And Sammy was surely a more talented singer with regards to vocal range, a better showman. I don't know. When those videos came out not too long ago of that '84 show overseas, the energy on that stage with Roth, with that band, was it was something that I had never seen before, because I was kind of in that age bracket to where I was too young to go to the '84. I think I was in 7th grade, and my parents or my mother had zero interest in me going to a concert at that age. So I missed those, but my first show was the Monsters of Rock tour in '88 at Pontiac Silverdome. That was my first concert, and man, what a first concert to go to! I mean, still to this day, that one holds up. That one holds up. There's 74 is a show that popped up on YouTube with Mark Stone. I saw that. I didn't. I did not go onto it. I did not go into it, but I do need to go check that out, because I'm sure I'm sure it's something cool to see. I'm sure it's surely something cool to see. So I did that video today on the Made in Japans. If you didn't see it yet, I did compare the Made in Japans to the USA's. Remember on the Made in Japans, those were stainless steel frets, flat body, non tilt on the headstock. All the USA parts, and they were just a great bang for the buck. I want to say those were 1,500 when they first came out, and the PV Wolfgangs were around 1,000 when they came out. The specials, the PV Wolfgang specials, I think when they debuted those, they were at 999. So that being said, the EVH Wolfgang specials, those are especially the Made in Japan ones. Those are amazing and very good. So let's see here. Mikey said his first concert was in '84 on the 1984 tour. Buddy, still to this day, I wish that I could have gone to that tour because that was when well, that was the show that was overseas. That's the one that I wish that I could have been able to see. Everybody came back the next day because back in my day when I was in junior high school, you knew the people that went to the show the night before because uh, they came in with concert T-shirts. So then I got wise to it, and I would just tell my buddies who are going to the concert, "Hey, do me a favor and pick me up a concert shirt and just bring it back." And then I would change my shirt before school started. Favorite Van Halen song, "Top of the World." I get a lot of shit from my buddies because it's a Sammy era song. "Top of the World's" a cool tune, man. I mean, if you don't know, that's the end of Jump. That's the ending lick of Jump. That's where that came from. I think "Top of the World's" a cool song. I think that that entire album is awesome for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. I've been revisiting that a little bit after I bought that CD bundle pack that came out when they supposedly went back through and redid everything or remastered it or whatever they did. I revisited a lot of I really revisited 5150, and then I also went back to For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. The music's great. You can't sit there and say it's not good because it's good. It was just different. It wasn't Van Halen, Roth stuff, but it was surely cool. There was no issues with that, in my opinion. Lewis says, "I wonder what material Van Halen would put out had David Lee Roth stayed with them without all the problems they had towards each other." It's interesting to think about. I mean, some of that stuff was already done with Summer Nights and Good Enough was already done, from what I understand. So there's probably audio somewhere of Ross singing those because from what I understand, those were already done. So it's interesting to put another mix. There's actually a a song that came out not too long ago, and it had Dave singing on it. I want to say it was Cabo Wabo, and they remixed it with Dave singing lyrics over Cabo Wabo, and it sounded amazing. It was really cool. So February 15th, '84. I had just turned 13, I think. 59 in the neck, JB in the bridge, three position switch. Oh, okay. Here we go. Back to this. Okay, 59 in the JB in the bridge, three position switch, coil splits, so you get six positions. Tone knob full is like direct wiring to output jack. Okay, so let's go down the list here. The 59. I like the 59 in the neck. I like the 59 in the bridge. I was gonna pull that pickup in the new Holy Grail. That thing sounds fantastic. And I built some guitars and I painted them. The ones I sent Robbie the pictures. I should pull those up so I can show those. Those ones that I built and painted professionally, I put 59s in them. They had a 59 in the neck position because that's supposedly back during that time. That's what was in it. Three position switch. Love a three position switch, especially when it's toward the when it's down toward the bottom. I like to angle it a little bit so I have easy access to it. But this one's got a kill. I put a kill switch in this one. The When I got this body, they there was a hole there, but it wasn't big enough for a pot, so I just put a kill switch. Or maybe no, it wasn't big enough for a switch. So it was a tone. There was a tone at one time, so I put the kill switch in there, which takes me to the tone. I don't like tones on guitars. I just don't do that. The cool story about the Bumblebee was is that he had the tone glued inside uh, the pickup cavity, so he could adjust. He always had problems with that guitar, but I don't think Ed liked the tone either. And Hartley Peavy talked Ed into the tone knob. Remember when they were doing the Peavy Wolfgang? Ed did that interview and said, I really didn't want the tone switch, but they figured it would be a better marketed guitar if it had a tone on it. So that's where the tone came from on the Wolfgang, because we all know that Ernie Ball didn't have it. Coil splits, I think coil splits are cool, but I wouldn't have it on every guitar. The FU tone, I did a walk around on. I have a black FU tone that has the coil splits on it. It's cool. If I was gigging, that would probably be a guitar I'd want to take so I could use it with a coil split. So you do get the 6 positions, what you're talking about, uh, and then wiring to output jack. So yeah, so that's the 6 pack: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, I've never heard of it as reference to that, but yeah, love the 59. Who doesn't like a JB? It's an Alnico 5 magnet. Alnico 5 is my magnet on pickups. I love them, and I don't think that that's ever going to change. Uh, I was going to pull pickups out tonight and talk about my favorite pickups, but I started writing notes today about stuff to talk about, and pickups didn't make it on it. So I would say, like I know I've said it before, the Sir SSH Plus, the Custom 5 Seymour Duncan, and the RTM are probably my 3 favorite pickups. The SSH Plus and Alnico 5. The Custom 5 is obviously an Alnico 5 pickup, and then the RTM is an Alnico 2. But the RTM pickup is DeMartini's pickup, and what that is that's just a different, heavier, hotter JB is what is how they marketed that. So thanks for your comment, man. Really appreciate that. I haven't seen you in the chat before, so thank you for being here. I appreciate your comment, and hopefully I helped you or validated what it is that you were. Coil split is push pull. I love push pulls. Push pulls. That's Lynch right there. I love push pulls. I love wiring push pulls. Um, I've got push pulls in a lot of guitars. So uh, kind of went down the rabbit hole of wiring during my time off this year. Started messing around with 5-way switches and different modifications and stuff. So I think I was talking to somebody at work, or maybe it was on here, about wiring and why I never got into wiring. The reason why I never got into wiring is because I was always an Ed fan, and he had a humbucker straight to a 500K and 500K to output. So there was no reason to sit there and go, oh, wow, that's a really cool mod. Now, when I got to John Suhr, they were doing all those cool mods on stuff. They had the blower switches and they had all this stuff. And I was like, the mega switches. And I'm going, oh my God, man, there's just way too much going on in there. So I was kind of, overwhelmed. But I wish, hindsight's 2020. But in hindsight, I wish I would have been a little more receptive to the wiring aspect of John Suhr, because like I said, it was me. I was final, and then I had a guy named Alfred that was my wiring guy. Then I went to Zach. Zach was my assembler. Zach is now at the mod shop at Gibson, and I went out and visited him in Nashville. And like I said, we had 3 lines when I was there. It was me, Kenny, and Jay Medor. So I assume, Lewis, I assume you're talking about the pickups. Let's do pickups. I'll do pickups on my next day off. Like I said, I can't schedule this stuff. I can't, because I'm all over the place at work. Automotive guys work long hours, and when I get a day off, I just got to throw myself in the mix somehow. But on my next day, I'm going to pull them out. This green box bat down here, the green box down there is full of pickups. I have way too many pickups in there. So I did talk to a friend of mine that worked at Suhr. I said, now, as far as going to storage these, I have over 100 pickups. And he said, No, they're fine. You can store them that way. We used to keep them in benches at John Star. I was like, I'm kind of concerned about all the magnets in there. He said, no, they're fine. They'll be fine in there. So I will pull out. I will pull out the pickups and I will pull out guitars with those pickups in it, and then we can do that on maybe on the next one. Josh Watson, thanks for being here. What are your thoughts on Eddie's potentially joining Kiss? I know that happened. I know there's recordings of him demoing. I know Gene has hit on it a few times. Yeah, I think that Eddie was probably going through one of his moments and was just venturing out and saying, well, maybe I'll go do something else. Interestingly enough, I had a conversation with my son tonight about venturing out and how Al just sold his drums. Like my son is going through a music phase right now. Just bought a bass and he's playing guitar and better late than never, I suppose, with regards to getting into guitar stuff because I never pushed him to do something, but he's starting to get into it now. And we had an interesting conversation tonight about Al, how he sold all of his stuff. You know, he sold all of his stuff off, and he said, what do you think about that? I said, well, what I think about it is I think that Ed passing, Al has zero interest in playing with somebody else. I think that's why he sold all of his stuff. I think he knows he's done. I think he doesn't. And this is all my opinion. I mean, which is what it is. Um, but I think that he had spent so much time being with Ed and looking over to his left and seeing him there that it would be strange for him to play with anybody else. So I think that that's what's going on there. And Al's getting up there too. Who knows what kind of ailments he has or if he even feels like playing anymore. He's getting up there and he probably wants to go spend his money and enjoy the rest of his life. And God bless him. There is that video of him driving around in a Porsche, which came out not too long ago. Maybe a little over a year ago. But that was a cool video, seeing him driving around in a Porsche. Mikey, good. Yep. Lewis, we will take care of that on the next one. We'll go through that. We'll go through those pickups. Said pick up Mikey 5150 on Messenger. Oh, okay. All right. Robbie is doing a 5150, and he had it sent off for paint last time I talked to him, and he's doing a. Okay, cool. Here, let me pull him up. So Robbie is doing a 5150 right now for Mikey, and there it is. And that was that's the real deal body. I know that he had done some modification to it to make it look real or to make it what it should be. So yeah, Robbie is very gifted with regards to doing stuff like that, and he's doing one for somebody else too. Uh, just like Bob Daisley and Lee Kerslake, if they were still on Ozzy or Randy throughout their tours. Yeah. Talking about Ozzy stuff. Yeah. My kid's watching these Van Halen videos right now, and he's going off all these Eddie Van Halen comments that Ed make on that MTV. It says you see how it says tone. Well, it's a volume knob, and when you turn it up, you get nice tone. That's a great interview. You get to see the all the guitars upstairs, and where all the stuff's at. Another question. Let's see. RTM is what I want in the bridge. Not sure about the neck. I'm a DeMartini fan. Well, DeMartini's using a quarter pound, but you came to the right place because that is the performance. That's the real deal. So, in my opinion, if I was doing a DeMartini guitar, I would get the performance PG10. That's Warren single coil that's in all of this performance. You can get that from Kenny at Performance Guitar. Please tell him that I sent you. My name is Mike, and he'll know. Who I am. Just say, hey, the guy who bought the Snakeskin guitars. I bought so much from those guys. Just tell them that Mike sent you. And if I was doing a Rat setup guitar, I would not use a quarter pound. I would use a PG10 for the single coil in the neck. Because if you're a DeMartini fan, then I guess the best tone to compare that to would be Nobody Rides for Free. When he switches over the neck pickup, that is surely a performance PG10. So The last place that Randy Rhoads played is just down the interstate from me. I'm near Knoxville. Yeah, Randy Rhoads. They've got that MXR Distortion Plus coming out, so I'm gonna pick one of those up when they come out, and I'll do a review on it. We'll plug it into some clean and let it blast and hear how close we can get to what's doing with that thing. Corpus Christi, Lewis. Yeah, right. JP21 says that 5150 looks great. Yeah, Robbie knows how to. He's got a really. I forgot who Robbie uses for his paint, but he's got a guy he sends stuff to, and he said that he's the best. So that stuff looks really good. Nice job, Marty Bell. That's who it is. Marty Bell does all the painting for Robbie, and he's done some stuff for him. Nice, Robbie. Yeah, and some reshaping he had done. Robbie has made that 5150 body and neck as close to what you can get the real deal. Robbie's an artist in his own right. I'm not disagreeing. I agree with that 100%. Your favorite song? Nobody Rides for Free, I'm assuming. Yeah, that's a good one. Somebody commented today somebody was in the comment today and they had mentioned DeMartini. Maybe that was you. I don't remember what the name was, but somebody had mentioned DeMartini today. I mean, I mean, where is that guy? You know, I wish that he would. I wish that he would jump out and get back in the mix. But from what I understood, is he was waiting for COVID to get over with, and then he was going to go out and do some of that, do some shows. He was playing with the Hollywood Vampires for a little while. I saw a couple shows. Jack Blades and him were on a Hollywood Vampire show. That was cool to see him playing. It's just weird to see him playing in the cover stuff. I would wish that he would just make nice with Stephen Pearcy and get back up on stage one more time so we can get some DeMartini and some Pearcy and maybe even Blotzer too. Blotzer's cool. Juan's cool. I mean, they're all still alive. The clock's ticking. So it'd be nice to see all those guys get back up there and knock it out one more time. I would surely go see them if they were. That's one of the few shows that I would probably go to see because I'm just not into going to concerts tomorrow. I went to or anymore. I went to go see Mammoth WVH, and I had to get out of there. I forgot who they opened for, but I didn't even stick. Oh, it was Alter Bridge. I didn't even stick around to watch Alter Bridge. I just watched Mammoth WVH, and then I was out of there. I just couldn't. I'm not too good with the crowds anymore. But I'll tell you what, if Rat came back out and they went back into touring, I would definitely go see him. Robbie's talking about the guitar that he modified for Mikey. Lewis says I have the MXR Distortion Plus in mustard color that I bought in the early '80s because of Randy Rhoads. Yeah, those should be cool. I've reached out to I read that those are going to be only Sweetwater and Musician's Friend. Are they going to be only people selling those? It's that's kind of that's kind of weird. I'm not sure if that's a limited run on those, but if they're putting a limited run on them, and I also saw they're going to be like $350, so that's kind of hefty for a distortion pedal. Shoot, I paid that for Lynch's, which I have right here. Well, I paid $400 for it. Not sure if you've ever caught the stream, but this is one of George's uh, distortion pedals from the Dokken era. He listed 3 of them or 4 of them one night on Reverb. He got rid of all of them, and I grabbed one of them. So yeah, I want to say I paid $400 for this one. So $350 for a distortion plus Randy Rhoads has got some polka dots on it. That's pretty rich. He shows up here and there where he wants to, no drama. So talking about DeMartini, I know you're talking about. So I've met DeMartini in a lot of different like ways. and I've met his wife Kathy. I've talked to Kathy on the phone. Warren won a surfing competition in La Jolla, California, when they were in San Diego, and I went to the library and went through the archives to try to find the newspaper clipping of when Warren won the surfing competition for Kathy. So I had talked to Kathy on the phone, and Warren's a cool cat, very low key, very humble, very reserved, very quiet. But the cool thing is when he's on stage, he's not reserved whatsoever because he's just a shred monster. That guy's just he's just amazing. His tone is amazing. He's cool. He's always looked cool. He's always been a cool cat, and I wish that he would get back out there and do something. Lewis says, I also have the Tom Schultz Rockman X100 headphone amp. I bought that then too. You know what's funny about those? I bought a Kramer Stage Master, a blue one, and I wish I still had it because it was a single humbucker. And I sold it to my friend, and then somebody broke into his house and stole the guitar. The day I bought that guitar, it came with one of those Tom Schultz Rockmans, the X100 headphone amp, and I wish I would have kept that because I got rid of it. I kind of giggled about it. I said, I'm never going to use this," and I got rid of it. I should have held on to that. I should have kept it, but unfortunately, I did not. JP21 says, love Miles from Alto Bridge. Got to see him with Slash a year or two back. Hey, man, Miles Kennedy is a beast, and he's a great guitar player, and he's probably a better guitar player than Slash is. So if you don't know that Miles Kennedy can play guitar, I would recommend go and YouTube him and check him out because he has some licks, and he can play guitar, and he's just a huge talent, a very unique voice, and he's awesome. And if I was a little bit younger, I probably would have fought my way to the front to go and watch Alter Bridge, but was just not. This old man is not up to that these days with regards to concerts. Lewis got some comments there. Uh, what thinking about what I was chasing on YouTube? What are my guitars that are saved right now in my or not my YouTube, my Reverb? What guitars are saved in my Reverb right now? I've actually got three guitars saved in my Reverb right now. I've got a one of those Henrik guitars. There's one on there that's priced pretty good. I would like to get one of those, and the first thing I would do would drill the volume pot in the right position, and then I would make the volume pot position a kill switch, and then I'd probably set it up, block the bridge, and I think they're really cool looking. Um, I really wasn't interested in those until I saw Sambora playing one. I don't know why it interests me that Sambora played one, but I thought that it looked really cool when Sambora was playing it. And I was like, I may get one of those and check it out. So I've got a Henrik saved in there right now. I've got there's a Kiesel Yin Yang in there that's fairly priced right now. I was going to go after one of those when they first hit, uh, just to support Jason Becker pretty much. But I thought that Yin Yang paint job was cool, and the story behind it's cool about Clapton's Blackie and the story that Jason Becker told with regards to that guitar. So that's in there. And then I have if Phil's still in the chat, Phil, I'm watching that Friedman Stell for sale back there in Michigan. That I was thinking about going after a Friedman Cali, but I've got the same guitar in the OG in the Grover Jackson OG, so it's kind of difficult for me to go buy a Friedman. I just don't think that having a Friedman and a Jackson OG is it's kind of repetitive there. Mikey says Miles Kennedy has a great voice. He does. He's very unique. If you ever seen the movie Rockstar, that's Miles Kennedy at the end when he's down there, taking over for Mark Wahlberg. That was Miles Kennedy. That's where where he kind of got his maybe his that was Miles Kennedy's maybe first big moment. I don't know, but I'm thinking it probably was. If you've never seen the movie Rockstar, by all means, please go watch the movie Rockstar. Supposedly kind of a spin-off of the story of Judas Priest with regards to Rob Halford. So if you get a chance to watch that, Mark Wahlberg, really good watch, great soundtrack. Steel Dragon was a great put together band. I think it was Jeff Pilson on bass. Or no, it wasn't Jeff. Or maybe it was, but it was Jason Bonham on drums. It was Zach Wild on guitar, and for some reason I'm thinking Jeff Pilson, but I'm thinking it wasn't Jeff Pilson. I don't know. Either way, if you haven't seen the movie Rockstar, that's Miles Kennedy at the end of it. So JP21 says, I actually did not know that about Miles. Love his voice, but I would check out his guitar stuff. Hey, my buddy turned me on to that. He goes, well, you know, he knows how to play guitar, right? And I was like, no. And he goes, yeah, he's a great guitar player. He's probably better than Slash. So I went and checked out some of the stuff that Miles Kennedy had, and that guy can play guitar. So very talented musician, you know, songwriter. He's good. And you know, Tremonti, I made fun of Tremonti for years when he was in Creed because he just never played any solos, but that was the 90s. He didn't play solos in the 90s. That guy can shred. He's really good. Mark Tremonti is a really good guitar player, and he showed that over the first couple of Alter Bridge albums. When he was in Creed, he did a whole lot of nothing. So, you know, ever encountered the performance guitar Super Overdrive? Now I know that they mod those. I've never checked one out. I've never messed with one, but I do know that they do their own mods on their on some foot pedals. So have I experienced it or encountered it? No. Have I seen them there at the shop? Yes, I have. And I'm sure based on the quality of work that they've done on the guitars that they've built for me, I would surely check one out if I were interested in an overdrive pedal. But playing through the EVH stuff, I really don't have a need for an overdrive pedal. You don't have that with the only time I think the only amp I have that I would probably need an overdrive pedal for would be that Soldano, that Hot Rod 50. Everything else is pretty much overdriven, extremely overdriven. So Rodney Parker said he's going to see Ace Frehley September 20th. What is crazy is this place he's playing. He last played there in '77 with Kiss. That's cool, man. Is Ace Frehley touring with Steve Brown? I know that they did that album together. I wonder if Steve Brown's on tour with him. Is he going in there and sitting in and playing with Ace? Because I know that I'm pretty sure he was on that album that Ace Frehley just recorded. Yeah, I'd like to know, Ronnie, if you know if Steve Brown's touring with him. I like to know that. Had somebody send me Cult of Personality today and told me that that was their favorite guitar solo. Vernon Reed, they just got done opening for I think they just got done opening for Extreme. Funny to keep up on all that stuff. I try to keep up on it, but Rockstar, great movie. Yeah, man. I mean, like I used to watch that all the time. I used to watch that all the time just because I thought it was cool, especially when they were in the studio and stuff, and it clicked like he was doing terrible, and then it just clicks and he just tears it up. I mean, that what a cool movie that was, and the soundtrack too. I still listen to the soundtrack of that album. A lot of those songs, what a couple of them were written by Dio. One was written by Hagar. Um, you know, they've got their think yeah, some of that album was already pre-written songs. Wonder the same thing probably about Steve Brown. Yeah, I'm just wondering if he's touring him. I mean, that guy tears it up too. Steve Brown, that guy's a good player. He's cool. You know, Steve Brown, his guitars are cool too. I thought about picking one of those up because they're so cheap and just like get one and check it out and go through it and see what's doing with that. So maybe I'll pick one of those up and do a review on it and check it out. I thought that white one looks cool. It's got like a little bit of a relicking job on it. It looks cool. I might pick one of those up and check it out. Ronnie Parker says Brown pops in every once in a while. Brown did produce latest. Yeah, I knew there was something there because I was watching some of his stuff on you or Facebook, and he was pretty involved with Ace uh, at times. So yeah. Okay. Well, coming up on an hour. Anybody's got any questions, hit me up with some questions. Please watch my video on the PV Wolfgang made in Japan. Those are cool guitars. I absolutely love them. It's just my problem with them right now is I've been playing these 1 and 11/16, and you go to a 1 and 5/8 and you're like, oh my god, I've got no room there. I'm all bunched up. I feel like I was all bunched up. I played that Vandenberg the other day and I was bunched up on scale. And I picked up the made in Japan Wolfgang Special and I bunched up on side to side now with regards to nut width. So it was it's just kind of like I can't win. I just need to go back to my my red Charvel, which I seem to be favoring right now, along with my shop guitar. My shop guitar I favor. This has got a Jason Becker pickup in it, and it's just fantastic. That Jason Becker Seymour Duncan pickup, amazing. And I wired it in there by accident. I pulled it out one day. I said, I never really did anything with that pickup. I should wire that pickup in. So I wired it in, and come to find out, it's fantastic. So if you were wondering about the Jason Becker pickup, go ahead and buy one. I would definitely endorse it, and it's unique. It's unique, and it sounds really good when you're soloing. Uh, it just sounds, but that's what it's meant for. I mean, it articulates well. I guess is what uh, is what I would say on that guitar. Let's see here. JP21 says, "Tell us about the Prescott shop on your hat. Cool spot." So, Grey Dog Music, Grey Dog Guitars. It used to be. My gal and I go up to Prescott. Prescott is north of Phoenix, and it's a higher elevation, so it stays cool. In the wintertime, they get snow. So we get out of Phoenix, we go up there and walk around the courtyard. It kind of reminds me of the city of Back to the Future. So it's got the courthouse in the middle of town, and it just kind of reminds me of going to the Back to the Future set. That being said, we were walking around one day and I stumbled on this guitar shop. It was called Grey Dog Guitars at the time. And I bought two guitars from them just by stumbling on them. The one guitar I went through, the one I put the performance guitar, the performance pickups in. I bought that one, and I bought something else from them too, but I forgot what it was. But anyways, check out Grey Dog Music. I have no problem endorsing them. They're or sponsoring them or saying, "Hey, how's it going?" Uh, Pop in on them and check out their store. Cool store. One of the other cool things is right behind Grey Dog Music. There's a Fender Master Builder that ran Fender for years, and he's opened up his shop right behind Grey Dog Guitars. So I'm sure that Grey Dog Guitars takes all their repairs over to him, uh, and he does their repairs. I forgot what his name is, but I did run his name across from friends of mine that worked at Fender, and they said, "Oh yeah, he's very he's a great builder." So check out Grey Dog Music, Grey Dog in Prescott, Arizona. They're a cool shop, small shop, and really cool. So Robbie is talking about his guitar, his neck, I assume. The black and white Strat from Prescott. Yeah, the this one right here. I got this and the neck was twisted. It came with a Warmoth neck on it, and the neck was really fat. This one came from Grey Dog, but it had a Warmoth neck on it. Neck was twisted, and it kept twisting. And so I just changed the neck out to this, and this one just plays fantastic. Every day, I was taking this out to California just for something to noodle around on, but now my son's got his own guitar, so I don't have to take guitars out anymore because I'll just grab his Starcaster, that Tom DeLonge Starcaster. I am in love with that guitar. I'm in love with that guitar. He got the pink one, the shell pink, and I like the white. I think the white is the one that I would go after. Any Steve Stevens stories, or maybe his guitar setup specs. So I know that when I first started working at Sir, we were doing the Josie guitars. The Josie is the one that had his wife on the front of it, and I'm pretty sure they were running Aldrich pickups through those guitars when they were selling. I don't remember a Steve Stevens pickup during my time at Sir, or maybe Steve was getting the guitars and putting his own pickups in, because I know that he's had his run at signature pickups. Steve Stevens stories, not really. He never. I did not bump into him at the NAM shows. The two or three that I did there, he was never. He was not there. Um, the uh, the good one is the one I talked about, which was Doug Aldrich. Doug Aldrich, I was assigned to him for that night, so him and I hit it off really good. And at the end of the night, he asked me to be his guitar tech. But that's on the. I tell that whole story on the Gold Top Les Paul. If you watch my Gold Top Les Paul, that's the reason I bought that guitar, because Doug plays Gold Tops, and I spent some time with him that night, and I was like, I have to have a Gold Top Les Paul. So I just recently, in January, February, acquired the Les Paul that I had been looking for, and that's 100% my Gold Top Les Paul is in tribute to Doug Aldrich and my time spent with him that night at Sir, because him and I seemed to hit it off pretty good. I just wish that I would have had the opportunity to go be a guitar tech for the European leg for Whitesnake, because that would have been pretty cool. So, but I had other responsibilities, and maybe it happened for a good reason. The black and white. Yes, I went through that. This is the black and white. What impedance does that Becker run? I want to say it was 14, but go on the Duncan website and check it out. But let me tell you something, man. I mean, like, I don't, there's pickups that I wouldn't recommend, but that's definitely a pickup that I just bought on a whim, and it's a fantastic pickup. So I want to say it was 14. I want to say it's 14. Hopefully, I'm not wrong about that. Heard him say that he likes higher action than usual for tone. I assume you're talking about Steve Stevens, or I'm not sure who you're talking about there, but I hear that a lot. Ingve just said that the other day. He says he likes his action really high because it gives the string more room to resonate on the fretboard. If you have low action, you don't have, the string doesn't have as much room to resonate. Excuse me. The string doesn't have as much room there to resonate on the fretboard. So, what's Mikey saying about Steve Stevens? Steve Stevens is such a humble guy, very cool dude, great player. I've never met him. I saw him step off the tour bus in Costa Mesa when the Vince Neil band opened up for Van Halen on the Right Here Right Now tour. It was the Vince Neil band opening up for them, and I watched him step off the bus, and I said, "Man, that guy's really short." And that's the only thing. That's the only brush I've ever had with Steve Stevens. So he's a great player, man. I mean, like, that guy's he's always been cool. He's always been a great player. Yeah, I think he's got some. I think he's got some cool talent there. Never met him, but I watched all of his interviews. Very down to earth. Yeah, cool guy, man. I mean, uh, a lot of those guys. I watched the. If you haven't watched the Sunset Sound with Steve Lukather, definitely a must watch. If you're, he talks a little bit about the Van Halen, the Beat It. Talks those Sunset Sound videos that they did. The one with Prince was amazing. The one they talked about with Prince is just, I couldn't stop. I could not stop. I couldn't stop watching it when they talked about how uh, his engineer Peggy was there, and he bought her a bed because he was in the studio so much that he would work constantly. And if she needed to rest, he bought her a mattress, and she would just sleep there on the studio floor as he worked. So if you haven't seen the Sunset Sound on Prince or with Steve Lukather or the Van Halen stuff, oh my God, those are so good. I sit there and rewatch him over and over again. So can't wait to watch you do setups. I've done some setup videos, man. Go back and dig into some of the older videos. I've done setups. I've gone through all my Sir specs. I had my own specs when I was, before I had gone to Sir, because like I said, I worked at Zola Guitars. Bill never really taught me, okay, this is where you want it. This is the measurement you want here. This is what you want. Everything was done by ear. If it sounds good, it is good. right? But I had an idea of where I liked my action. I just never measured anything out. When I went to Sir, I had to learn measurements on everything because when they go to QC, they that's how they checked everything. They checked everything, made sure it was stage ready out of the case, and that's one of the curses that still to this day I wrestle with because it was maybe it's almost kind of a curse when I look at guitars. I'm like, well, that's not good. That's not good. And sometimes it's not a big deal, but it's a guitar that I have to go spend money on. I got to bring it home. I have to tear it apart. I got to make it right. I'll only do that on guitars that I feel that are must-haves, like the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail was. It's funny. I called Sweetwater. They called me and they said, "Hey, Mike, your guitar's here. Do you still want the Holy Grail? We got them." And I said, "Of course I do. Please, let's go." I said, "Hey, I'm a little concerned about string alignment because I've been seeing some pictures." And he said, "Oh no, no, those guitars aren't going to have string alignment problems. They go through our setup." And I got it, and it wasn't good. But she's fixed and she's good, and we'll be fine. She'll be fine. But surely, what a pleasure working for John Sir when I was there. But it could also be a curse at times with regards to looking at guitars and saying, "Oh boy, picking them apart, picking them apart." I'm pretty good at picking them apart. So you've seen Steve Stevens play a USA Wolfgang in Black. Yes, I've seen him play that. Probably Ed probably gave it to him, you know? I know that Ed gave Music Man's. When I saw that when they opened up for Van Halen on that tour, he was playing a pink Ernie Ball. And I remember I was like, I know that Ed gave him that. Oh, I was just like, oh my God, I'd like to have that guitar. So hopefully he still has that hopefully he still has that pink Ernie Ball Music Man that Ed gave him. Overlord 5150. I was at the same show. Vince Neil was fantastic, and the highlight was EVH playing Unchained. Yeah, man. Yeah, they played the Love too. This is the Love. It was a Hagar tune that was supposedly written for the next Van Halen album, and they played that night. I've got the it's called Rocking My Hometown. It's a I don't think it's a soundboard, but it's a recording of that show, and the song is called The Love, and it was supposedly a Van Halen song, and then Hagar used it later on one of his Wabarita CDs. But that's cool that you're at those shows. We went both nights. Me and my buddy that I grew up with in Michigan, he came out, and we went both nights. And man, that's the same show that I was at where um, Steve, the book writer guy, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank, but Eddie Van Halen gave him two guitars, a black and yellow one and a red, white, and black, and he sold them. And the guy we sold them to came to the show, and I was standing backstage because I did leave the backstage area. And Zeke Clark was Ed's tech on that tour, and Zeke Clark was out riding around on a bicycle. And Zeke Clark came back and drove by the guys. He goes, "Hey, what's in the cases?" And they go, "Two of Eddie's guitars." And he goes, "Oh yeah, let me see them." So they opened them up, and I was like, "Oh my God." And he opened them up, and Ed looked at the guy, and he goes, "Yep, those are Ed's guitars. Why are they here?" And he said, "Well, the guy that I bought them from told me that they would come with Ed's autograph, that Ed would autograph them for me." And he goes, "Okay, come on, let's go." And I was like, "Oh my God." I was like standing there going, "They're good." So they started walking down the long ramp that goes down to the amphitheater. And I was watching him walk down to the amphitheater. And I was going, "Oh my God, he's going to meet Ed." And about 15, 20 minutes later, the guys came walking back up with the guitars. And I said, "So what happened, man? What happened? Did you get to meet Ed?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, yeah, we met Ed." And he wouldn't sign them. And I was like, "Oh, no way." He goes, "Yeah, he said that those were given as a gift, and he didn't have any interest in signing them for the guys." So those guys left pretty bummed. And still to this day, we laugh because he also had a green Music Man with him. He had a green Music Man, and he had two of the guitars that Ed was gifted from one of those guys that wrote the books. I forgot which one it was. Um, but he was in a chat one time, and I had mentioned it in the chat, and he really didn't want to talk about it. So I'm pretty sure that he got some flack about that. But we followed the guys to their car because we were talking to him, and the guy just nonchalantly walked to his car and put all three guitars in the trunk and went back into the show. And we still laugh to this day, going, "Man, what the heck were we thinking? Why did you just go out down and like break the trunk open and run away with them?" So it's pretty funny. Think about that. Love your new channel. You have all the guitars and the knowledge I'm interested in, and I'm sure many others will be too. Yeah, hey man, I really appreciate that. And I enjoy sitting here and talking to you guys. That's when you know you're getting old, when you like just like talking about stuff that you've experienced in your life. Because when you're young, you don't want to talk about it. But now, I'm getting older, and I surely don't mind sharing uh whatever knowledge I do have. I have guys locally that I work on their guitars, and they come over and they think they're going to drop it off, and I just let them sit in the garage with me and hang out, and I show them what I'm doing and how I do it, and they appreciate it. So I guess it pays to be local, and you just come hang out in my garage and we can work on your guitars. So hey, appreciate that, and I appreciate you subbing, and I appreciate my 1,000 subs, and I appreciate that. Thank you, Robbie. Uh, I'm so glad Wolfgang is keeping 5150 Studio alive. So the interesting thing about that is I had mentioned how long am I into this? An hour and 8 minutes. Um, I mentioned that I sold a guitar or a truck to a guy the other day, and he's a Van Halen fan. Well, we started talking, and I'll go ahead and show these pictures. I think I can show these pictures. Uh, I have a friend of mine that was in a Van Halen tribute band in California, and the bass player was dating Janie's sister, from what I understand, and or from what fact was, and when Ed passed, uh, I hope I can find these pictures. When Ed passed, there they are. Good. So when my friend's bass player, who's in a Van Halen tribute band, was dating Janie's sister. Um, and at the end of Ed's life, Janie's sister was the caretaker of Ed. She took care of all of his stuff and everything. This is I guess it could be considered hearsay, but this is what I was told by a friend of mine who was very close in the Van Halen camp. And so my buddy got the opportunity to buy Ed's Porsche, and I don't want to show pictures of him, but that is Ed's Porsche in front of Ed's house, and that's when he went to go pick it up. And I don't want to show that picture, but I do have a picture of my friend in front of 5150 Studio. So let's see. It's probably not going to show up, and I don't want to show my buddy. But anyways, he got to go to 5150 Studios, and he had asked. He said, "Hey, any chance that we could go up and check out the studio?" And she said, "Wolfgang's very protective of 5150, and nobody goes in." So uh, that's what I was told after Ed's passing. So I'm assuming that that's. But I had shared that with the guy that bought the truck the other day. He's a Van Halen guy. Wolfgang is keeping that. It's very clean. I mean, when you saw the behind the music, that was pretty cool. Seeing how clean it was in there, and taking very good care of it. He's got his own stuff hanging up in there, and that's really cool. So that's cool. Mikey, great story. I'm probably talking too much tonight, buddy. Uh, yeah, right. I mean, like we still laugh about that to this day. What were we thinking? We had 2 nights there. We should have. I've never. I mean, I don't even think I've stole a candy bar in my life. I don't know. Maybe I did when I was a kid, but surely not something that I do. I'm not. I don't do bad things like that. But We surely laughed about it for a long time. What were we thinking? We could have broke the trunk open. We could have grabbed all the guitars. We could have taken them back to the hotel and then come back and caught the last or the end of the show, and then gone back for the second night and whatever. So yeah, it's just kind of funny. Yep, getting old and geeking out. That's me. Robbie's talking about the pond where he throws all of his nonsense out there, well, all the bad parts. 1,000 subs, Allie. Thank you, Allie. Thank you so much. Nice, nice 911 turbo. Yeah, that was Ed's car, and he shows it to this day. He goes to car shows, and it's right. He's got the registration and all that stuff, and it's cool to. Haven't talked to him in a while. I should talk to him and see if he still got it. JP21 agreed. The love the Don't Pack Down video. All the guitars on the wall at the end was cool. Yeah, the Rude guitar was up there. I think some of his Wolfgangs were up there. I'm always very on top of looking in the background when it goes anything inside 5150 because I want to see what's doing. I mean, it's like Matt Bruck said. Matt Bruck said that this is that's the West Coast Graceland for sure. 100%. He's 100% for sure on that. So. Treasure trove of music. Agreed. Mikey loves the stories. I probably shouldn't be telling so many stories. I'm going to get flack for telling stories. I was thinking about Matt Bruck. I was thinking about something about Matt Bruck the other day. Matt Bruck was, if you don't know, Matt Bruck was Ed's tech, and I had met him a couple times at the NAMM show, and then he just turned into Matt's Ed's right hand man. But I was thinking about Matt Bruck for some reason, but he did a really good job as far as like keeping Ed on track and everything. So he's a trusted human, as you see on those shows. So good stuff. All right. Well, let's see. Hour and 14 minutes. I think I've been in here long enough. Everybody's got to work tomorrow. I don't have to work tomorrow until 11 o'clock. So I'm closing manager tomorrow night. But uh, I appreciate you guys being here. 31 people in the chat. I appreciate y'all being here. Congratulations to John DeShane on OU812. He picked up one of the. Oh, that's what I was thinking about Matt Bruck for. John DeShane on the OU812 show. He picked up one of the Sir SL68, the Mod 2s. The internal attenuator and all that cool stuff that John's got on those amplifiers. So congratulations to him. But I was thinking about uh, every time I would be talking to John or something, or I'd take a guitar in to get signed, I would always ask him about, hey, so tell me something else about the time you went to 5150, because he got the call from Matt Bruck. Matt Bruck had said that the Magic Marshall had come back from England. They had sent the Magic Marshall over to get tweaked, and it got tweaked in the wrong way. So they had asked him to come up to 5150 to check it out. And I asked him, so hey, what was so magical about the Magic Marshall? And he said there was nothing magic about the Magic Marshall. He said there were some capacitors and resistors that weren't 100% within spec, but they weren't out of the norm either of something that they would grab if they didn't have a certain thing. So really, there was nothing magic about the Magic Marshall other than Ed trying to get some business for Jose. So good on him, and congratulations to John DeShane on his new amplifier. And I think that's it. So if nobody's got any other questions, I'm going to sign out. I'm going to get out of here and go enjoy whatever evening I have left. And I thank you guys for stopping by tonight. Hopefully, some people will watch us on the replay. I really want to say that I appreciate my overseas people, because there's a bunch of people that are commenting that they're from Britain, from Europe, and I think that that's cool that I'm reaching over there. That's really neat that there's people overseas that are interested in stuff. So Mikey, buddy, love you. Thank you for always commenting on my stuff, and thank you for always being here. I really appreciate it. You're awesome. And JP21, thank you for your support, sir. Robbie, thanks for being in the chat. And we're gonna do a listing show. I just got to figure out when I'm going to be able to get that to where I can get that scheduled, and you and I can do it together. Lewis, thanks for being here, buddy. Appreciate it. Mr. Mick, thanks for being here. Appreciate all my supporters. Mikey, have a good night. YT1, cheers, man, from Down Under. See, that's one of the people. Where are you from down under? I've been to Darwin. I've been to Melbourne. I've been to Fremantle. I've been to Perth. I've been to Mackay. I've been to, where else have I been? Maybe a couple other places too. There was a small town I'd been to down there. So thank you for being here, sir. I appreciate that. Sir, thank you for your comments tonight. I appreciate. And please, if you guys, if you have any questions on anything, see, I'm kind of getting wise to this. If you have any questions on anything, you can email directly at dtuner5150@gmail.com. I was talking to somebody the other day and they go, I can't believe that wasn't taken. That was Instrumental Guitar in Thousand Oaks. I gave him my email address and he goes, oh my God, you got that email address? I can't believe that wasn't taken. I was like, yeah, I got it. So you guys can email me directly there if you have any comments or you need help with anything. I did have somebody say to me, hey, I'd like to send my guitar to you so you can tweak it for me. I'd rather not do that. Let's just do it together. Let's do it over email, or I can do it with you over that iPhone thing or whatever. We can figure it out and I can help you just do it, because it's always better if you do it yourself. So let me just touch these one more time and then we'll get you guys out of here. Ronnie Parker, later, everyone. I will end on that. Ronnie Parker, want to thank you so much for always being here. And I am out of here, and I appreciate you guys all being here. I'll see you on the next one. I don't know what I'm going to do next. Hopefully, like I was saying today, it's probably going to be a Charvel. So let's do a Charvel. I'll pull something cool out, and we'll go from there. Have a good night. Enjoy your loved ones, and stay safe. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you.